Hey VFC fam, it's your boy Joshua Detective Walker, your Venti Fried Chicken author and global cloud slinger. You can buy this beautiful book on Amazon right now, so you can know how I went from veteran to at one point homeless to now a tech boss. Hey Cloud Gang, you're in for a treat today. I'm fresh off of coming off the Dreaming in Color conference, which was in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I got to speak about cloud computing, and I was also part of the overall keynote programming as well, which was a huge privilege. But as you know, I really care about growing your tech career and your trajectory going as quick as possible. So today I want to break down the 10 profound things that I learned while being at this conference, Dreaming in Color. And even if you don't identify as a person of color, these things are universal. So let's get into it. Lesson number 1, there's no substitute for community. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals is one of the biggest career hacks when it comes to technology and life in general. You hear people talk about tribes all the time, but when you're talking technology, it's really a hidden gem. People that can give you support, feedback, encouragement, hacks. In a lot of ways, your community becomes the thing that really just drives your career, your fuel for your career. So remember, continue to foster a big network because you can't go wrong with it. Lesson number 2, your legacy is other people. Tiffany Spencer and I have been friends for years. She's a trailblazer, a golden hoodie recipient from Salesforce, which is a coveted thing. And none of those things surprised me because she's amazing. What did surprise me is during the keynote, her just really expressing how us encouraging her to be our first executive director for Black Orlando Tech was one of the big reasons that she is where she is today. And I'm not saying that we're the only reason Tiffany is where she's at. She was getting there regardless. But it was a great reminder that what you do for people and to people is really important. And having people around you that encourage you and see stuff in you that you don't even see for yourself is super important, which goes back to rule number 1 as well. Lesson number 3, don't take opportunities that aren't meant for you. To kind of piggyback off the last lesson I said, at the time for Black Orlando Tech, we're looking at our first executive director as far as like who that person would be. Even though she had been a great leader, consistent leader, amazing, just great impact overall, she thought that because we were co-founders that we naturally should be the first executive director. But after meeting with Mike Felix, we kind of joked like, no, we really need Tiffany in this position, and we more importantly need an adult in this position. So Tiffany became our first executive director, and we only grew as an organization because we chose her as our leader. But then fast forwarding now, I think about like, what if I would have just taken that role because I could have? I don't think the organization would be as far as it should be, which is mainly just a reminder that blind ambition is bad. So if you're a community leader or you lead in general in your organization, just think about as opportunities come in, do I need to hog this or should this go to someone else? Lesson number 4, put yourself out there at all costs. Whether it looks like it or not, turning this camera on every week is terrifying sometimes. But I continue to put myself out there because I know that the overall impact I want to make outweighs my own fear. A lot of people don't want to reach out to that person or go to that conference because they're afraid of like, oh, what's going to happen? But you'll never know because you never even took the shot. But what I do know, anytime I've put myself out there in a technology context, I've rarely regretted it. You'll get great feedback, you'll learn from it, and you'll grow. Lesson number 5, you have to believe in yourself until they do. No matter what stage you are in your career, just having confidence in yourself is crucial. I tell people all the time, when I got into tech like around 8 years ago, I got in through straight enthusiasm. And enthusiasm carries, so when I would go to my first mentors or ask questions to a lot of the OGs in tech at that time, they knew like, hey, this kid is green, but he's getting after it. If you're not confident in your skill, at least be confident in your work ethic. And then eventually, they will recognize your dedication and talent. Lesson number 6, if you don't do the work, no one will. What I learned from hearing from all of these different founders, business owners, or even people just getting in their career, if you don't do the work, then no one else will. And how that translates in the community impact level is there's so many great organizations like Dreaming in Color, Black Orlando Tech that basically are going after these systemic issues, and if we didn't pick up that mantle, no one was going to. If you have a burning desire to change something, just do it. The world is waiting on you. Lesson number 7, when in doubt, just be authentic. I had a speaking part within the keynote part of the presentation as far as the conference, and I went up there with a bunch of notes, and then as soon as I got to the podium, I was like, you know what? I have a lot of stuff I want to say that are not in my notes, and I just ran with it, and I think it was a better speech because of it. And I'm not going against being prepared or anything. All I'm saying is, for the most part, what people really feed off is authentic vibes or authentic messages. So if someone handed you some script or you made some script for yourself and you get up there, or whatever there is, and it doesn't feel right, just go straight from the gut. As long as your heart's in the right place, it'll carry you far. Don't be afraid to take risks and show your individuality. I know being this crazy cloud fried chicken man has brought me this far. Lesson number 8. Stay committed to your craft and the money will come. One of the things that stuck with me was what the keynote speaker Juanita said. She let the room know, if you focus on your craft, the money will come. I get chills just thinking about that because it's something I've said for years. When I got into technology, I just was all about, hey, I need to soak up as much game as possible, and then eventually the bank came. Of course, know what you're worth, but really just be a student of the game. You can't drop the bag if you're the bag. I can't drop the bag, I'm the bag. Stormzy. Lesson number 9. Just showing up is half the battle. There were so many people I talked to that had just been through a recent layoff or what have you, and they knew they just needed to be there for the magic to happen. I'll use this analogy. I know for sure if I just throw on my gym clothes and I drive to the gym, I gotta do something at the gym. The tech scene is kind of the same way. Show up where you're supposed to be and make the most of it. Last but not least, lesson 10. Execute on your ideas. You want to start that business, you want to create that new product, you want to create that new conference, you want to create that new user group, do it. The internet is nothing but space and opportunity. Pretty much all the amazing juggernauts I got to interface with during this conference basically had the same methodology. They thought about something they really wanted to do and they went after it until it happened. Kenny Beats, which is one of my favorite producers, has a saying, dots, don't overthink shit. And I think this falls right into line with that. I hope you got a lot out of these 10. I encourage you to like and subscribe on the channel. We have a lot more content on the way and some specific questions will be answered to help further you in your tech career. Train, inspire, relate, class.